You're not on the Halo team, so let's set that expectation.
Right, I'm not on the Halo team. I'm on the Small Business Server team, finished working on Small Business Server 2003, working on the next versions, including Service Pack 1.
Yeah. And who are you?
I'm Sean Daniel, a program manager on the team.
Okay. And the reason I came, because you're not a developer API
Correct.
kind of thing, or and we're don't look at the camera. Forget about the camera. There's just 100,000 people watching. All your friends will watch. But I met a vice president of sales here for the West Coast, and I was asking him, so what's hot? What's popping on the shelves? You know, what's making you money? And he said, oh, small business servers going nuts. And so I wanted to see what it was about. And I keep seeing Susan Bradley, who's one of our MVPs.
Yep.
Who's your MVP, right?
Yes, she is.
Small.
Yep.
And she's always sending me articles, and she writes a blog, and I always see her talking about Small Business Server. So I wanted to, what is it? What does it do?
Well, Small Business Server takes all of those enterprise-focused applications and jams them all into one box and just makes it a really dirt cheap, low-cost value for small businesses to get all of the functionality that an enterprise server would have, So it takes Exchange, it takes SharePoint, packs them all in a box. In our premium SKU, we have ISA and SQL, and we pre-install it, make it really easy for people to use, and it just has a lot of value to customers because they can focus on their business instead of their server technology.
Right. So, and does it have a different front end than the enterprise customer might have?
It does. We build our own management tools on top of the Windows server. So when you're adding a user, for example, you don't need your Exchange Enterprise admin to add a user. You don't need your Active Directory Enterprise admin to add a user. You just use our tools, and we add that same user to all the different services and features on the box. It's simplified admin, essentially.
Right. And how long have you been on the team then?
Been on the team for about 4 years.
Wow. So how old is the product?
The product started probably sometime in the 90s before I was here.
Okay.
With SBS 4.0 and SBS 4.5 based on NT4 platform. I joined in the 2000 timeframe, SBS 2000. Didn't do much to help ship that product. They actually focused me on planning for the 2003 release.
Right. And
sure enough, here I am, having gone through the entire product cycle of 2003. We've shipped, and it's a great product.
So you're probably working on all sorts of Longhorn stuff, huh?
I'm working on Longhorn and R2 stuff,
yeah. R2 is?
R2 is another release for server, Windows Server. There's sort of like a dot release where there'll be a couple added features and things like that.
Okay.
So,
it's just inside Microsoft jargon.
Yeah,
I hear all these terms, but...
Blah, 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 you can't hear this. Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
So, what's the coolest thing about the Small Business Server?
Well, I'll show you. We can start with our admin console.
All right. And then if Susan was here, what would she ask you about? We'll come back to that.
Susan would ask me about patch management.
Okay.
We all know that Susan Bradley is that's a hot button for her.
Right.
So currently today we don't have anything on patch management. We are working on it. We're going to put the latest versions of SUS and all that kind of stuff on the product to make it very easy to do patch management.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So show me what's cool about it. Give me the elevator pitch.
The coolest thing I think is just our admin snap in here. We offer the very different, easy ways to do the product. So if you want to monitor your server, you can simply click on Monitoring Reporting, and once it loads in a second, the ASP.NET takes a second to spin up.
Yeah.
You sort of get a one-page look of how your server's doing. So it's been up for 4 days. We just did a migration over the weekend, and this is our product server.
Right.
So it was up for 4 days. We got a couple of things that I need to look at in the event log around critical alerts and things like that. Tells you what's on the server, what your free disk space is like. Basically, the health of the server.
Now, who would be a good customer for Small Business Server? Is it anybody less than 100 employees?
It's actually less than 75.
Okay.
So we have a limit of 75 users on our box. We typically find people who have between 10 to 20 users or 25 users use our box the most.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's basically...
when you get over 40 or 50 employees and you're growing real fast, it starts to make sense to look at other...
Right, and then in that case, which doesn't happen that often, but on occasion it does, we have an unlimited SKU, which will take the SBS box and put it back into all the enterprise pieces so you can grow past the 75 user limit.
Right. Cool.
And the other thing I think is cool, because this is something that I built, is the backup functionality.
Okay.
Essentially what happens here is we run NT backup for you because it's hard, and we tell you instantly if it succeeded or failed.
That's cool. So what languages did you use to do this?
To code it all in?
Yeah.
All the SBS tools are Win32 apps coded in C or C++ or whatever.
You haven't gotten the .NET message yet, huh?
Well, we're working on it. The web page infrastructures that run inside the MMC consoles are all .NET based.
Cool.
The other cool thing we built is we call Remote Web Workplace, and this is probably our killer selling feature. Essentially, it's a single web page where people can go and connect to their inside of their network.
Right.
So they would go to their server name /remote, and they'd be able to click on a link to check their email through the OA web interface, or which is only available to small businesses, and probably the key selling factor is they can TS through the firewall directly to their client behind.
Okay.
We've built a TS proxy, is what we call it, and it's probably one of the killer features.
Right.
So,
cool.
very neat.
Got any other cool things to show us in there?
Well, let me show you the Remote Web Workplace quick. Another thing that geeks might like is we actually built an ISAPI filter to redirect people from HTTP to HTTPS. So since our end users are people's grandmothers and grandfathers, they don't understand the difference between non-encrypted and encrypted, and and as a result, we don't want them to have to understand that. So if they come in on port 80 and it should be like port 443 based on the URL, we just redirect it for them.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So you can log in here. I'll log in as myself. And here's our Remote Web Workplace. You'll see that I got a bunch of links when it loads. I can connect to. I'm an administrator on this box.
Okay.
So I get the choice to connect to server desktops, client desktops. I can check out the SharePoint help desk section, and I can do so. If I wanted to connect to a client desktop, just click on this and choose my PC in the list.
Yeah.
And it'll TS directly to my desktop inside the network, from outside the firewall.
Wow.
It's all encrypted, 128-bit, using SSL.
So if somebody's having a problem back at the office, you can just dial it or get into the web and.
Correct. The VAPs can all work from home.
Really easy administrative.
Exactly. They can be sitting on their couch watching television on a wireless network and fix a customer problem. That's the way I like it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff.
So here, I'll show you here. I'll just connect up to my PC, which is Shonda here. Click connect. And there I am, TS directly to my PC.
Wow. Okay.
Let's go ahead and log in. And my monitor on the other side, which was having resolution problems, pops up, and here I am through the firewall connected to my machine.
That's really cool. Where's the best place to go to get information on a small business server?
For information on Small Business Server, the best place is Microsoft.com/SBS.
Okay.
I do have my own blog, which I'll publicly say here is shonda.blogspot.com.
Okay.
Sorry, Scopel.
All right.
But there's a lot of good information in both places around SBS.
Yeah, and then where are the best community sites? Like Susan Bradley has a site.
Susan
right?
Bradley does have a site, sbsdiva.com.
And are there other MVPs that
there are
doing
lots of
good
other
stuff?
MVPs. If you go to Microsoft.com/SBS, there's a link to the community, and we list out all the blogs there and all that stuff, so people can get information, connect up to our news group, all that stuff directly from there.
Anything else we should know about the team, or? And you play Halo every night, is that true?
Yeah, I do play Halo every night. My gamer tag is aggressic, and no, I will not be your friend unless you know me. Yeah. So there you go.
Very cool. Anything else you want people to know about the team or how the product was developed?
We're working hard getting SP1 out the door, and then we'll be focusing on our R2 and Longhorn versions.
Excellent. Well, can't wait to see those. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.
See? Quick.